Hello everybody, Gibzomac here, and today I want to be talking about my recreation of the Mosin Nagant in Battlefield 4. So, the Mosin Nagant is a bolt-action rifle, and it was in service from 1891. It was used by the Soviet Union, and it was used in World War I, World War II. So I tried to recreate this weapon in Battlefield 4. It was kind of hard to do, because we don't have a Mosin Nagant in Battlefield 4, but I did get kind of close to it. So what I did was I took the SV98, because, one, the SV98 is a Russian rifle, and of course the Mosin Nagant is a Russian rifle. They're of course bolt-action rifles, and they do kind of act pretty similar. And I put just no attachments on it. I did actually put on a bipod and then eventually a straight pull bolt later on, which you will see. But you know, I didn't put any attachments on it or anything. I also used the M1911 as my secondary weapon. I used C4 explosive, radio beacon, M67 frag, trench knife. This is actually a pretty cool class. What it is just a bolt action rifle. Now it is kind of hard to use, and it did take me a while to use this weapon because it's a sniper, but you're gonna have to use it at pretty close range unless you put a scope on it, which I did try it, but it just didn't really fit the SV98 in my opinion. Now the SV98 is actually not that bad of a rifle. I didn't use it much before this, and I don't know if I'll ever use it after, just because, one, I don't really snipe too often, and if I do snipe, I usually have a scope on my gun, but I did get some pretty cool kills. Now, the way you have to use this rifle is you pretty much have to just get as many headshots as you can. Now, you can kill an enemy from the body shot if they're 12.5 meters in front of you, but if they're any farther away from that, you will have to get a headshot to get a one-shot kill, unless they already have been injured. Now, as for the M1911 as my secondary, I forced myself to actually use the SV98, because I knew that the M1911 isn't that bad of a pistol. It's a pretty good pistol, and what I did was I forced myself to actually use the SV98, because the thing about the M1911 is I could have used it as kind of a primary and done pretty well with it, probably better than the SV98, because it is pretty different, at least for me. Maybe if you do use iron sight bolt action rifles like this, then you might be amazing with the SV98 like this. I did have to have a lot of patience in my shots and have to have pretty good accuracy. And a lot of my targets that I did kill were either other snipers, and I had to get a headshot on them. Now the maps I did on this class was I did a bit of Flood Zone, which I did pretty good on that. I did Dawnbreaker. I did some of the Final Stand maps and some of the Naval Strike maps. The Final Stand and Naval Strike maps, both of those are pretty good. Some of the base maps, they just didn't really feel like a World War II or World War I style of maps. So it was something about those maps. You know, they feel either more urban or just, you know, they just don't feel the same as like a World War II or World War I style map. But you know, you can do pretty good on a map like on any of the Naval Strike maps, or even some of the Final Stand maps, which wouldn't make much sense because the Final Stand maps are more futuristic and stuff like that, but they do pretty good, you know, because they are more open. And so, you know, it's up to you what maps you want to play on. I didn't play on too many maps. You can do this. Now, I did try this out with a Goal and the Scout Elite, just because those have 5-round magazines, and I wanted to do that, and I really like the Goal. But the problem with the Goal and even the Scout Elite is that they just have pretty bad iron sights. The SV98 had pretty good iron sights in my opinion. They weren't amazing. I probably would have done better if I put on a red dot or an ACOG or something like that if I was trying to be more close range, or even a scope would have been good. Probably better than the iron sights. But the iron sights aren't terrible, and I was like, are the iron sights on sniper rifles really this bad? Because I usually, whenever I snipe, I usually put on at least some optic, and that's usually how I play Battlefield. I usually have some sort of optic, you know, whether that's a red dot sight or ACOG or you know, an 8x scope. But these iron sights aren't that bad, and and I was looking at some of the other sights, you know, M405 and stuff. They were just so bad. Now, I did actually do pretty good with the Goal. It is a pretty good sniper, and I was doing some pretty good shots with them. But the thing about the Goal is that it just has so bad iron sights. So I really didn't want to use it, and the SV98 wasn't too bad. You know, it is okay. It is okay once you get the hang of it. Of course, if you're going long range distance shooting, you might not do the best. You could probably do better with something like the SRR-61 or the M98B or something like that. So this class is actually pretty fun, and it was actually very satisfying to get killed, just because it was so hard to get a kill with this gun, and I didn't get it too often. It was very satisfying once I actually got that headshot and I killed an enemy. Now, I was actually going on a few long kill streaks, and by long kill streaks, I'm usually talking about 4 or 5 kills, which was kind of long for me, but it was kind of hard to actually stay on a pretty good kill streak, because since you don't have a suppressor, eventually enemies will just kind of swarm you, and then you can't fire fast enough to kill an enemy, because it does take a while to rechamber around. And now, once I unlocked the straight pull bolt, it's doing pretty good, but since I had to get like pretty much 50 kills to get a straight pull bolt, I was still not aiming down sights whenever I tried to rechamber around, just because you get in the habit of it, and it would actually help you if you have aim assist on, which I did because I was playing on console. If you do have aim assist on, it will help you to aim down sights again after you rechamber around, because the aim assist will help you a bit. Because since everybody else on console will pretty much be using aim assist unless they disable it, which most people don't, you know, it will just give you a bit of an advantage on an enemy that's using like an assault rifle or something. I did try and make this class kind of a World War II Russian class, which was kind of hard because, one, I said, you know, like I said, the maps aren't that World War II-esque. Of course, you know, that would make sense since we're not in World War II, but it is kind of interesting to see how close you can get this game to a World War II shooter, as well as, you know, everybody else is using like assault rifles and these, you know, all these crazy high-tech gadgets and stuff. But I would like to see a Mosin Nagant added to Battlefield. Of course, you know, it is an older weapon. You know, maybe they could have like a World War II throwback weapon DLC. That would be a pretty cool DLC. You know, with classic World War II weapons and even World War I weapons would be pretty cool. But let me know in the comments if you have used the SV98 like this, and if you have used this weapon, then let me know how good you did. Because in my opinion, this is actually a pretty fun class. You know, this is not the best class if you want to, you know, if you want to do very good with score and stuff, but it is a pretty fun class because it is very satisfying once you do get that headshot. And, you know, it does get kind of intense if you are going on a long kill streak. Now, if you want to know if I would recommend this class, probably not. You know, it isn't that good, to be honest. If you are looking for score, you're looking for KD and stuff, you know, I don't really care about my KD in Battlefield. Now, if you are going to do this, I would recommend playing on at least a Naval Strike map or a Final Stand map that has a lot of foliage. Giants of Corellia would probably work very well. Lost Islands would work pretty well. And you could do this with the base maps as well. Flood Zone worked pretty well for me. You know, I haven't played on every map, but I would assume that Hainan Resort or maybe even Nanking Dam would probably work pretty well. Just a map with a lot of cover and a lot of foliage where you can actually get these pretty good shots on infantry. You could also try and take out other snipers. I didn't really do that too often, just because it was kind of hard to do because they're trying to snipe at you. And they, of course, have an advantage if they're using a, you know, better rifle with actual you know, scopes and stuff. So I actually do like the iron sights on the SV98. So let me know in the comments if you have used this rifle, and let me know like if you like it or not, and your stats. And I might try and do this with some other World War II weapons and even World War I weapons. But I would like to see more World War II weapons, or, you know, classic weapons in Battlefield. Let me know in the comments if you do like this weapon, if you like the SV98 in general. Actually, hope you all enjoy. Feedback is always appreciated, and I will see you guys in the next video.